Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well and having a fantastic day, doing whatever makes you happy. Now, before we move on any further, if you don't know me, my name is Karen and I enjoy making these videos about quilting and anything else that sort of relates to that, because I know it encourages you and it makes you really excited to see other quilters do their work. Now, before we go on any further into the video, I've got to remind you about this. Now, one of the requirements for taking part in this quilt along is that you are required to share your quilt at the end when you have actually completed yours. Now, it's imperative, that's a big word, yeah, means it's very important that you share. And one of the reasons I say that is because I really want to see what you've come up with, what color concept you've used, and how you're actually working with your quilt, especially if you are a beginner. It's important to me to see that side of it through. I don't want the idea of me just, making the learning part of it and, sharing that with you, showing you the end result of what all the steps we took and what it led to. However, I would like to see your end result. Yes, I know it's a teacher thing, but I would love to see what you have to bring to the table, and then we can share it with our own community here, which is very important to me. So please do bear that in mind if you have decided. I know a lot of you have downloaded the patterns because obviously it tells me, right? I just got another buzz on my watch, so another person has just simply downloaded the pattern. Before I move on any further, this video is a paid partnership with BetterHelp, but I'll tell you more about that later. But for now, let's dive into the video. Alright, so to start the next block now, we are going to be using half square triangles for this one, and I'm going to label them within the block pattern for you so that you know where you're going with it. All right, I've already cut all of my squares here so that it's easier for me to work with rather than to cut it in front of you. And so all I'm going to do is just make half square triangles. This is a very simplistic one. It's not difficult at all, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. It's another star, obviously, because we are doing a star sample quilt along, and I hope you enjoyed this one. It's relatively easy yet again. We're going to start with the center block first, and we're going to make the half square triangles the traditional way because I've already cut the blocks in the sizes that I want. Okay, so basically just going to do front sides together and make half square triangles. I am using my same fat quarter, nothing has changed, my same fat quarter bundle, and that's it basically. So nothing has changed at all. The same fat quarter bundle with my same background fabric as I have done for the 3 previous blocks. All right, so I'm just going to, as usual, draw a line from point to point here, and I'm using a solid green for my center block. All right, so I'm just turning it over on the light so that I can draw the line, and I'm going to sew on either side of that line, cut it down the middle to get my half square triangles. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Once I have done that, then I'm going to move on to the next stage. Alright, so let's talk about BetterHelp. Now, as you know, I have shared with you my struggles that I have had when my sister passed. Now, if I had someone like BetterHelp to talk to, it would have been a lot more easier to understand the whole process and hopefully make myself feel a little bit better. If you are struggling and you feel like you need to talk to somebody, then why not choose BetterHelp? For me, had I done that, I would have felt so much more better. First of all, in the beginning, rather than hiding how I felt, lying to myself and lying to my family, which made me a lot more sad, literally. So for me, having someone to talk to would have been like a huge weight off of my shoulder, and I would have been able to just simply pick up the phone and speak to somebody. And as I said, it would have given me probably the answers that I've been searching for. It is still quite difficult to think of my sister, and one of the things that still saddens me, or I still don't know how to deal with still to this day, is like when her picture pops up on my phone, because you know the phone gives you like a story time. So last year, 2 years ago, it would say remember when, and that's one of the most difficult thing I'm still yet to process. And I think having better help and having someone to talk to makes it so much more easier. So if you are struggling, please use my link. Go to BetterHelp to help you understand how you can make things so much better. Now let me tell you a little bit more about how you can reach out to them. So BetterHelp connects you with a credentialed therapist who is trained and there to support you and give you unbiased advice. First, go to their site, use my link, betterhelp.com/crafty quilting designs. And BetterHelp will match you with a professional who has years of experience, who can help you with struggles just like mine, or something that's completely different that's really bothering you. So you can choose whatever makes you feel comfortable. You can work with BetterHelp through messaging, video on your computer, whatever makes you feel comfortable. They are there to support you and make the access to them a lot more simplified. So all you need to do to start talking to a therapist today is to go to betterhelp.com, and you can talk to someone that helps you, makes you feel so much better about the things that you are concerned with. Go to BetterHelp and they will connect you to the right therapist. Remember, if you don't like the therapist that you have, or you don't feel comfortable with that one, you can always change. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, that's one of the great pluses about BetterHelp. So choose BetterHelp so they can connect you to the right therapist in the comfort of your own home. All you need to do is use the link in the description box down below, or simply go to all the details written right here, and you can get your first month's discount. So let's get back to the video. Okay, so I chain pieced the set. Okay, so it's all ready to go. And remember, all you need to do is to draw a line right down the middle. I've drawn a red line for those of you that are beginners from point to point, and I've sewn a 1/4 inch on each side, aligning my 1/4 inch foot on that red line so I achieve it correctly. And then all I'm going to do now is simply cut it open. So I'm gonna excuse me. So that red line now becomes my cutting line. And I'm only saying this for, oh, sugar and spice. I'm only saying this for beginners. So those of you who are experienced, you don't need to worry about that. You can omit that information. Okay, but I know that my channel do have a lot of newbies. So I just want to make it clear for them. We all were newbies and beginners at one point. So what I'm going to do is just press them open using the same technique of putting the light down first and then pressing it back. All right. So this is all of the squares I've used here for the center. Alright, so my other sets of squares, I'm going to do the same thing now. Just note that I have used a background color within the square of the block, or the star of the block I should say, and I've also used a background color on the outside. All right, but once you see my color layout, you can choose however you want to do yours. There's no right or wrong. My only measure, I would say, is to make sure that the center star is popping. Okay. All right, so moving on to the next stage now. So we've made our center blocks, we've got the half square triangles, we're going to lay them out in a minute. Okay, now we've got our other sets of blocks that we need to make half square triangles. Remember, I did say that this block is made entirely with half square triangles. Beautiful block, yet so simplistic, yet so simplistic, yet so beautiful. I said it twice just to make my point. Now what I do want to say though, my center block is going to be a darker green. My other bit of my star legs is going to be a lighter green. So you can decide on if you want to do something like that. As I said, the most important thing is to make sure those star legs are popping, and any other square or color that you use for your half square triangles is receding, meaning it is not as dominant. We don't want to have two strong colors because we would clash. So let's say, for example, if I used green and green, as if I used the green, the dark green for my main color. So for example, let's use a bit of a trimmings here. I use this dark greens for my star, and I use this as my background color. You're going to be at a loss because the viewer or the person admiring your sample of quilt will not be able to see that star pop. So I would definitely say to go with lights and darks and mediums. So definitely darks for your main feature of the star, lights for the background, and the mediums, let's call them the middle color, to help boost that middle star. So that medium color is literally to, like, you know, travel along nicely behind, not trying to take the forefront, because we already have the main strong color for the green. So I'm going to go ahead now, do the same technique, which I'm not going to demonstrate yet again because we've done this before. So draw a line in the middle, so on either side, and again I have used my background color all the way throughout, and you would see once we come together to make the block. I just wanted to give you a little tip before we moved on. If when you're doing your half square triangles, a good tip is to press them together. Just put a light press on them, and what that does is enable it to stay together because the heat keeps it nice and tidy. So it's, you know, you put it on there, you just put a little bit of a press, and then once you go over to the sewing machine, it literally keeps it there, so it's not moving in any way, shape or form. Just wanted to give you that little tip, so that, you know, your working method goes together so much more easier. All right, so get all the half square triangles done, give a little press, that's it. Split second of heat so that it just stays on there, so it doesn't move at all. Draw your line, sew on both sides, then we cut and lay out. This is the quickest block so far. right, so let's lay the block out now. So these are the first sets we made before. So I'm going to start with these ones. So these are the center. So we're going to lay it out in a pinwheel form. So when you lay it out in the pinwheel form, it's always about the colors, the opposite colors touching each other. All right. So what I mean by that is is light green, or background green, background green, background green, background green. All right, so you always start with your pinwheel for this particular block, not every single block. Okay, and what we're going to do is match up the colors. So we don't want to match the colors like that, but we want to give it sort of an angle. All right. Just take your time. They can get a little bit fiddly. I always find that I am never really elegant when it comes to it. I just find I always move them quite easily. I don't know if anybody else have that issue, but I always tend to, you know, I never fit them together nicely. So I always try, but I never achieve it. And this one goes like that, okay? So that's the first set of layout. I will take pictures just to make sure that I actually get it right. So the next one now is these ones here, and that goes like so. I'm not sure if I chose the green correctly, but oh, not that one. I chose the green correctly, but we'll soon find out. I wasn't sure if I wanted the lighter green, but I sort of, you know, played with it in my head to see how it would actually look. But I don't know. I think it might look all right. I think, she says. I think. So hopefully it works out, because at the moment I feel a little bit unsure about it. A little bit unsure about it. That's how I feel right now. But yeah. Is it this way? I'm getting myself confused now. No, it's not that way. See what I mean? I'm never elegant. There you go. Alright, and then obviously, hopefully you can see where I'm going with this, why I decided to do a lighter green. So hopefully it works. If not, I will have to change the color. I wouldn't sew it together. I mean, you know what? I am seeing the dream. It's looking good. I chose correctly. Yes, I am happy. I am happy. It looks good. It looks good. It looks good. Well done. Because sometimes, you know, when you plan it out, you're not sure. So I am going to bring the camera, I'll zoom in so you can see, but it looks really good. And then I will sew it all together and present the block to you. But I'll give you a shot so that you can see how it looks before it's sewn together. That looks beautiful. Really, really lovely. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. Looks pretty awesome. Absolutely gorgeous. I think my color construct was absolutely spot on. All right, so I'm going to sew this together now, and then I'll present the block to you. All right, so the block is sewn together now, and I'm just going to give it a bit of a press. My iron's been off, so while that heats up, I'm going to get my rulers ready, because I can see it may need some trimming at the end, just to make sure it's nice and straight. So just double check if yours need trimming, and I use the word trimming. I'm not cutting it down to size. This block should come up to 12 and a half, but if you find that your blocks may not be aligned properly, just trim off the excess. So I'm starting at the back first and just press it down so that the seams are flat. So I'm going to line up with just to make sure from the top there, and any excess is going to be trimmed off. So I'm lining up the top there and the bottom, and any excess is going to be trimmed off. Do all 4 sides. So again, line it up. Point to point, point there at the bottom. Just aiming at trimmings at the moment. Do not go cutting the block down. It should come up to 12.5. All the sizes are correct to make the half square triangles. Last side. Alright, so just to show you, that is the amount of trimmings I have taken off. So please do not go cutting it down to size, alright? So this is your block. This is it. I'm going to hold it up properly so you can have a look. Beautiful block, really like it. I love the movement as well, actually. It looks really nice. Love the color concept. So again, pay attention to how I've used my colors, noticing the lights and the darks. Okay, so the darker green in the middle to form the pinwheel, plus towards the end there. Okay, so the block is called Lucky Pieces. Alright, Lucky Pieces. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give me a thumbs up for this one. I think it's beautiful. The quilt along is coming along very well. This is block number 4, and remember, I'm only using 1 fat quarter bundle so far. So, and I keep reusing them, so there's going to be the same colors throughout with the extra background fabric, all right, and some scraps. All right, so again, look at the block. Beautiful. All right, see you in the next one. Bye for now, and happy quilting.